A 5-year-old boy rushed into the boba tea shop and knelt before me. "Aunt Alex, please don't be the other woman." I scoffed. My husband, who had married into the Liu family, cheated, his childhood sweetheart brought a child to cause trouble, and my mother-in-law made a scene at the company. I had slapped the jerk a few times, thrown him the divorce papers, and turned around to leave to travel. It was the peak hour at the boba tea shop, and many people were scrolling on their phones while waiting in line. Hearing the little boy say this, they simply started recording. "Aunt Alex, please, please leave Daddy. Daddy will give you lots and lots of money." Mommy said, "Aunt Alex, you're just blinded by love. She's willing to forgive you." "Aunt Alex," the other woman, Mommy. I narrowed my eyes, examining this boy who looked quite adorable, and asked, "Your nickname is Luke, right? I heard you say it just now." "Luke, how old are you?" "Luke is 5 years old this year." Having gotten the answer I wanted, I immediately called Robert Miller. "Are you done shitting? I'm at the boba tea shop on the mall ground floor." While waiting for Robert Miller to arrive, my boba tea was ready. I asked the staff for a paper cup and poured some boba tea into a cup for Luke. Looking at Luke's tender face, if my guess was right, I really had Luke to thank. "Thank you, Aunt Alex." Luke seemed very surprised. He got up from the floor, took the boba tea, brought it to his lips, and carefully took a sip. He smacked his lips. "It's really good." The people around didn't quite know what was going on at this point and chose to watch. After all, things like twist after twist after twist happen online too often. Just as Luke was about to take another sip, another woman rushed in. I thought, is this boba tea shop a revolving door? One rushes in, another enters. The newcomer smacked the boba tea out of Luke's hand and shrieked, "Didn't I tell you not to touch anything from this woman?" "I see." Crossed my arms and said, "This woman?" "Which woman?" The woman glared at me, full of venom. "Amanda Smith, how has our Luke offended you that you would harm him like this?" I glanced at the now helpless little boy. "A cup of boba tea? God knows what poison you," the other woman, "put in that boba tea." The staff's face darkened. My expression also turned grim. "Sarah Jenkins, what in the world are you doing?" Robert Miller's furious roar came. Seeing that he also wanted to enter the boba tea shop, I quickly spoke up to stop him. "Hey, don't come in here and mess with their business. Go outside. I'm not getting in the way of their business." Robert Miller was stuck, unable to speak or move, his face turning red with frustration. "All right, spill it." I sipped my boba tea, gesturing toward Sarah Jenkins and her son. Robert Miller said, "Alex, what are you talking about? I don't know them at all." Hearing Robert Miller say this, Luke was the first to panic. He broke free from Sarah Jenkins' embrace, crying loudly, "Daddy, what are you saying? You are my daddy, you are my daddy." Robert Miller took some coins from his pocket, walked over, and pressed them into Luke's palm. "Don't call just anyone daddy. Take this money and go." "Wah, Mommy, Daddy doesn't want us anymore." Sarah Jenkins also started crying along with Luke, crying and hitting me. "I hear you on the phone with my husband every single night. Are you that desperate? I don't care if you work like a slave, but you're acting like a prostitute, being the other woman, and interfering with my marriage to my husband. Our child is already 5 years old and about to start elementary school soon. You're going to affect his education. Amanda Smith, I hope you rot in hell." Watching this farce, I felt like I could already predict tomorrow's social media headlines. Hashtag Mandasone's wife and son for mistress. But I'm Amanda Smith, and I have a voice. I took a portable loudspeaker from my bag and turned it on. I nodded and smiled at the few friends who were still recording videos. Remember to get my good side. I still have a bit of an image to uphold. Clearing my throat, I began my performance. "First, you claim I'm the other woman. The burden of proof is on the accuser. I'm calling the police right now. Do you dare come with me to the police station? Second, Robert Miller and I got our marriage license 6 years ago. If he is also your legal husband, can I assume Robert Miller is a bigamist? Of course, I don't really care if your marriage is legal or not. As for the third point, I took another sip of my boba tea, opened a TikTok video on my phone. The content was exactly what had just happened to me. The video has over 10,000 likes, saves, and comments. Ms. Jenkins, you're viral. I turned off my phone and said softly, "Do you know what this means?" "It means I can sue you for defamation, Miss Defendant." Sarah Jenkins' face suddenly changed. I took a step forward, looking at Sarah Jenkins sitting on the ground, and leaned down. "You thought by picking a crowded place, relying on public opinion, and cyberbullying, you could get ahead? Well, congratulations. You succeeded." This time, it was Robert Miller's face that changed. He was about to open his mouth to explain, but I splashed the unfinished boba tea in my hand onto Robert Miller, staining the expensive shirt I bought for him. "Divorce me, Robert Miller. Don't force me to sue you too." Robert Miller had married into the Liu family. 6 years ago, my father passed away unexpectedly, leaving behind the vast Liu Corporation. Although my father had already personally taught me how to handle affairs, it still took me several months to slowly grasp everything. Fortunately, my mother was very supportive, easing my anxiety. Robert Miller appeared around this time. He would make lunchboxes every day and put them on my office desk and would carefully remind me to take my stomach medication. Truly a perfect house husband. I was somewhat moved, so I took the initiative to ask Robert Miller to meet and handed him a contract. "Take a look." Robert Miller gave a wry smile. "Ms. Liu, is this like selling myself?" I crossed my hands under my chin. "Why wouldn't it be?" "Read carefully. This document will be legally binding. Once you violate the terms of our marriage agreement, you could be left with nothing upon divorce." The man smiled brightly, full of confidence. "Don't worry, Ms. Liu. I will fulfill my duties. Besides, I believe that day will never come." When my mother came to find me, holding her phone, she was indescribably anxious. It seemed she knew about this mess too. "Alex, what is going on? Has Robert Miller done something to wrong you?" After reassuring my mother, I thought for a moment before saying, "I'll handle it." "Don't worry, Mom." My mother stamped her foot on the ground in anger. "Oh dear, before I thought Robert Miller was such a good boy. He even used to donate money to university students." I was too embarrassed to explain to my mother that I was the one who told Robert Miller to sponsor the university students under the company's name. To put it bluntly, back then, Robert Miller had nothing. I wanted to give him some credentials so my mother might be more willing to accept him. I looked at the list of sponsored individuals. I didn't see Sarah Jenkins' name. Fortunately, he hadn't gone that far yet. I breathed a sigh of relief. The next day, I hired a private investigator. "I'm collecting evidence of infidelity for my legal spouse. I'm sure you can find what I need." Of course. The results were quickly in my hands. Sarah Jenkins, Robert Miller's childhood sweetheart. Ever since the incident at the boba tea shop on the mall ground floor, Robert Miller avoided me for a while. Seeing that I made no moves, he resumed his former nanny behavior, like preparing lunch. Opening the lunchbox, I found a diamond ring in the top layer. I raised an eyebrow at him. Robert Miller said, "Alex, it's all my fault, every single bit. Please don't be angry, okay?" I said, "This ring isn't cheap, is it?" Robert Miller smiled. "Spending money on you is nothing." I threw the ring into the drawer without looking at him. A rush of footsteps came. I looked towards the office door. My assistant's brow was tightly furrowed. "Ms. Liu, there are over a dozen people making a scene in the lobby downstairs. The security guards can't get rid of them." Making a scene? I subconsciously looked at the man who was trying to placate me. Robert Miller seemed to realize something, but quickly said with certainty, "It's definitely not Sarah Jenkins." I wouldn't be so sure. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I saw the banner that had been put up. I read it out word by word, and Robert Miller's face turned paler and paler. "Slut Amanda Smith, get out here and apologize. Destroying others' families, may you be sliced into 1,000 pieces." I have to say, the people Sarah Jenkins brought were sturdy and strong. The security guards looked like little chicks in front of them. I even saw someone I knew, an elderly woman wearing an exquisite cheapao. The old woman was currently cornering a security guard and spewing insults. I turned my head to look at Robert Miller, pretending not to notice. I said, "Oh, isn't that your mother? What a coincidence. Are they here for a group tour of Lou Corp Tower?" "My mother, she didn't mean it like that." Robert Miller's voice was full of uncertainty and guilt. But the harsh curses cut through the lobby, reaching everyone's ears. "Robert Miller, your mother's move is quite something. By doing this, has she decided she doesn't want you as a son anymore?" I needled Robert Miller again. The receptionist came over and said, "Ms. Liu, the police have been called. Also, this is your loudspeaker." I gave a thumbs up. Actually, I've always been a refined person. I don't like shouting. But if someone is being noisy and bothering me, I can't not fight back. The old woman saw me earlier than Sarah Jenkins. She agilely took an egg from the basket she was carrying and threw it at me. Seriously, I was number 1 at dodgeball when I was a kid. Wouldn't it be embarrassing to be hit by you? Splat. Quite unexpected. The old woman looked old, but her arm strength was actually pretty good, and her aim was surprisingly accurate. It hit her obedient son square on. I silently took another step to the side. Yolk and egg white mixed into a mess, sliding down Robert Miller's hair. The foul smell made him unable to maintain his composure. "Mom." Robert Miller's voice was hoarse. "What are you doing?" Unfortunately, Mrs. Miller didn't hear her son's murmur. I also felt a bit regretful. I should have lent my loudspeaker to Robert Miller. It was lunchtime. There were already many workers going out to grab a bite. In just a few minutes, Lou Corp Tower was surrounded by a crowd. Sarah Jenkins was dressed beautifully, pulling Luke along and handing out flyers. "Everyone, take a look. This woman is the other woman who interfered with my marriage to my husband. This shameless person actually has the nerve to work in my husband's company, canoodling in the office every day. It's utterly disgusting." A colleague grabbed a flyer and gave it to me. "Gotta say, the photo they used of me on it is quite nice." I showed the flyer to Robert Miller as well. "Thanks to your childhood sweetheart. Let's just call it free publicity for Lou Corp." Robert Miller was silent at first. When he heard me say childhood sweetheart, a hurt expression appeared on his face. "Alex, you investigated me. Didn't someone violate the contract first?" I chuckled. Without waiting for Robert Miller's answer, I had already walked to the entrance, holding my loudspeaker. I even saw cameras. Impressive, this move is truly a spectacle. The security guards had already pulled the old woman's basket of eggs aside. Seeing me come out, she yelled loudly, "Amanda Smith, you blind little hussy. How dare you have people stop me from coming in? Don't you dare think Robert Miller won't let you through the door." I smiled faintly. "Won't let me through the door?" I turned my head to glance at Robert Miller, who was hiding behind a lobby pillar, like a turtle retreating into its shell, clearly not wanting to face any of this. TSK. A microphone was held out in front of me. The reporter's face was full of sarcasm and excitement. "Ms. Liu, we're from the Family Matters TV show. Ms. Jenkins has reported that you not only interfered with their marriage, but even took their property. I'd like to know what kind of mindset you have to do something so morally corrupt." He looked me up and down with a presumptuous gaze, continuing gratingly, "Your clothes don't look cheap either. How can you spend the money you get from being the other woman and feel so completely justified? Their child is already 5 years old, but the father only gets to spend a few days a year with him. The child has grown up in the shadow of not having a father. How pathetic. Don't you feel any heartache?" "Why wouldn't I?" I replied perfunctorily. The reporter pressed on, "So, you fully knew the consequences, but still did it on purpose, is that right? You deliberately wanted to break up Ms. Jenkins' family, is that right? As a woman growing up in the new era, how can you be so utterly shameless?" Sarah Jenkins and her group heard the reporter's questions to me. Some had already started applauding and cheering. "Well said. If the gentleman knows how to ask questions, ask more. Let's see what else this other woman can say." I turned on my loudspeaker, unable to hold back. "Excuse me, I really can't hold back anymore. If any of you onlookers are posting videos, please blur my face. Let me tell you, Mr. Reporter, is your family tree only a single branch? All you do is bark nonsense. Should I bring the dog next door over to mate with you? Maybe that will help you settle down and start a family. Even for illegal and criminal acts, you need to provide evidence. What, now that the internet is advanced, you've grown a brain and learned to identify mistresses based on baseless claims? Where did you get your press card? Did you buy it? Is this how your teacher taught you to interview? I think you should switch careers and become a chef. Your mouth just keeps flapping, adding fuel to the fire. It couldn't do without you. What clothes I wear is none of your damn business. I think you look like a QR code. I wouldn't know what the hell you are without scanning you. I let out a breath, looking at Sarah Jenkins, and sincerely asked, have I done too few good deeds in this life that I have to encounter you? The reporter blocked my view, looking a bit angry. Perhaps it was because I had just questioned his professional ethics. He simply grabbed a random onlooker and said viciously, hello, I'd like to interview you. I see you're also an employee of Lou Corporation, may I ask, after finding out your colleague is the other woman, and still acting so brazenly, what do you want to say to her? The unlucky person who was grabbed glanced at me and didn't dare to speak. The reporter looked frustrated at the lack of response. Don't be afraid of her. We live in a society governed by law. She can't do anything to us. The unlucky person looked utterly helpless. Yes, 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 she really can't do anything to a reporter with a rotten tongue like you. But she's my boss, do you understand? You still don't get it? Are you an idiot? The reporter clearly didn't believe it. He tried to grab someone else. The onlookers quickly backed away. Seriously, they didn't know what was happening at first. Now that they know, why would they stand there like fools? Moving with tiny steps, only one man remained standing still, standing out from the crowd, holding his phone, looking like he was recording. Gee, sir, do you have something you'd like to share? The reporter rushed over and asked. The man said, as a reporter, you didn't bother to gather evidence. Instead, you came straight to the victim's company, for clicks, right? All right then. The man put away his phone. His clear, cold eyes glanced at me. Good. This way, whether it's defamation or divorce, I should be handling it, right, Amanda Smith? Reporter, and you are? The man took out a business card and handed it to the reporter, Sunny Law Firm, Michael Brown. Police officers arrived in cars. Seeing me surrounded, they helped separate me from Sarah Jenkins' group. What's going on here? Gathering like this. Are you trying to kidnap someone? Not at all, officer. We're just exercising our rights against the other woman. Turns out this other woman is a fraud, claiming she's some kind of boss. The officer said, don't you keep up with the news? Ms. Liu is a prominent entrepreneur in Sunnyvale. You just opened your mouth and slapped the label of the other woman on her, baselessly slandering a woman's reputation. What is your intention? Officer, I just searched online. Is this photo her? What the hell do you mean, isn't it? Look, this photo is identical to the one in the news. Huh? This woman is so rich. Then is she still the other woman? I don't know anymore. Let's see what Sarah and Mrs. Miller say. They were originally brought by Sarah Jenkins to help. At first, they thought I, Amanda Smith, was the other woman. But now it seems it might not be the case at all. Sarah Jenkins might still be questioning reality, but the old woman didn't see it that way. My marriage with Robert Miller was just a transaction. It was also a compromise I made when I was young and naive. That compromise eventually brought consequences. The old woman threw herself onto the ground, flailing her fists and feet. How unlucky our Robert Miller was to be with you. Every bite he ate, every drink he everything he used, wasn't it all prioritized for you first? But you barren hen. You showed no gratitude at all. During holidays and festivals, all you did was let Robert Miller go home alone. Finally, Sarah had a child, our family name will continue. Yet you still hoard Robert Miller's money and won't let her give it to us three, Robert, Luke, and me. Amanda Smith, you truly are a wicked woman. I'm so miserable. My son finally made something of himself, only to end up with a wife like this. I finally understood. I knew it. It's not like I'd never seen the old woman before. She wasn't this unreasonable back then. Turns out she thinks I took their family's assets but didn't contribute anything, and her mind got twisted. I told the security guards to drag out Robert Miller, who was hiding behind, and threw him directly in front of the old woman. As soon as the old woman saw Robert Miller, she realized she had thrown the egg at the wrong person earlier. Oh, my poor unfortunate son. How did you end up so miserable? Let's quickly divorce this woman. She glared at me fiercely. I don't know where she got the nerve. Our Robert Miller might be miserable, but he's finally come out on top. See this tower where you work? My son owns that. Mom! Robert Miller cried out, attempting to stop his mother from continuing. His colleagues were all around. Now everyone knew not only was Robert Miller two-timing, but he was also eyeing Lou Corporation. Son, don't say anything. You've just been too good to this Amanda Smith. That's why she's walking all over me. Think about how hard it is for Sarah raising Luke alone. Yet she never complains. Testimony delivered right to my doorstep. Couldn't stop it even if I wanted to. Robert Miller, here are the divorce papers. I took the document Michael Brown took out of his bag and handed it to Robert Miller. Robert Miller snatched it, didn't even look at it, and tore it to shreds. Michael Brown took out another copy. I printed several extras. Go ahead and tear. Robert Miller, adults should bear the consequences of their choices. Divorce is inevitable. Right, mother-in-law? I deliberately prompted the old woman. Sure enough, the old woman exploded. Son, sign it quickly. Once you sign, we'll go get married to Sarah later. As soon as the old woman said that, the reporter lost it. Didn't you say she was the other woman? So, after all this, Miss Jenkins is the other woman? The reporter was distraught. His mind was a whirlwind of frustration. The old woman was displeased. Watch how you talk. Our Sarah is an innocent girl. How could she be the other woman? Ah, didn't you just say it yourself? I heard it all. Aren't you trying to ruin me? How am I ruining you? You weren't hired by me. You're a big TV reporter. Can't you investigate the truth yourself? Whatever we say goes. Funny. It was amusing to see them turn on each other. After Robert Miller tore up 3 divorce papers in a row, he finally signed. His face was pale. Alex, can I still work at Lou Corp after this? I was surprised by Robert Miller's audacity. What are you thinking? Why should I be understanding after being wronged? Should I inconvenience myself to make you happy? Let me tell you the truth. I've already gathered all the evidence of your infidelity. Even if you didn't sign today, I would have made you sign eventually. Is it because of him? Michael Brown subtly straightened his back. No. I shook my head. We've been together for 6 years. If Michael Brown had a chance. No, even without him, theoretically, it would never be you. Then why? Maybe it was the experience. Your father passed away early, which made me feel a bit of empathy and wanted to be better to you. But people are different after all. Just like when I was working hard on my career, Robert Miller, because he lacked companionship, still chose to cheat. The old woman nearby was a bit confused. Son, what are you talking about? With Amanda Smith? Mom, I lost my wife. Robert Miller said. Oh, it's just a divorce. We'll just go get married to Sarah later. The old woman was nonchalant. The reporter jumped in. Old woman, what your son means is, the powerful connection he finally secured is gone because of the scene you made. Were you hard of hearing just now, old woman? Didn't hear clearly, right? Let me say it again. Your former daughter-in-law, Amanda Smith, is worth hundreds of millions. She's the owner of this tower, got it? The reporter gloated. Anyway, he was going to be criticized when he got back, so he wasn't going to let these people off easy. Pfft, what Family Matters TV show? What a load of garbage! The old woman was stunned. She grabbed Robert Miller by the collar. Is what this big reporter said true? Robert Miller nodded. Weren't you the owner of this company? I know this one. I quickly answered, I am the owner. If we weren't divorced, he could barely be considered an owner. The old woman's eyes went black, and she fainted. Police, make way, everyone. I'm calling 911. I picked up the loudspeaker and added, anyone blocking the ambulance, beware, the old woman might jump up from the ground and extort you. At least it was my last day as Mrs. Miller's daughter-in-law, so I still went with them to the hospital. As for Sarah Jenkins and her group, they were taken to the police station for questioning. Aunt Alex, Mommy was taken away by the police officers. Did Mommy do something wrong? Luke clutched my sleeve, looking at me with teary eyes. I looked at Luke and said, yes. Your mother did something wrong, and the police officers need to deal with her actions. I'm not a saint. Not holding any malice towards Sarah Jenkins' child was already my biggest concession. But parents' mistakes, the child has no reason to be subject to my anger. Alex! Robert Miller interrupted me sharply, shielding Luke behind him, his face displeased. Couldn't you just tell a white lie? Did you have to shove the truth in Luke's face? Oh, great, my temper. Everything that happened today had already worn away my proud self-control. Smack! My right hand was a little red. Robert Miller's face was slapped to the side. This slap is for your infidelity. Smack! This slap is for you taking my salary while building a happy family with someone else. Smack! This slap is for my initial blindness, my poor judgment, paying for my youthful immaturity. I shook my hand, looking at the disheveled Robert Miller. That felt good. Michael Brown had arrived at some point, I didn't know when. He turned Luke towards himself, covering the child's ears. I said, who knew Michael Brown was so considerate? Michael Brown nodded, I've been considerate for a while now. But I still haven't gotten close to your heart. I was speechless. Wasn't it because of my rebellious phase back then? I always rejected whatever my father arranged. Besides, we were too familiar, it felt wrong to make a move. I'd feel guilty. While the three of us adults and one child were still gathered outside the door, the old woman had already woken up in bed. She looked at me with indescribable kindness in her eyes. Oh, isn't this our dear Alex? You brought me here, didn't you? I knew you were the best. Robert Miller's greatest luck was marrying you. Seeing I didn't speak, she looked at Robert Miller again. Robert Miller, why don't you get Alex a chair? Standing must be tiring? Children are the most honest and asked curiously, Grandma, what's wrong? The old woman glanced at Luke and said, oh dear, my head hurts so much, so much. This clumsy acting, considering her advanced age, I still gave it a mental thumbs up. I'll pay for today's medical expenses. You handle the rest yourselves. I looked at Robert Miller and said, I am truly disappointed in you. As a husband, you failed to fulfill your duties. As a father, you failed to fulfill your responsibilities. As a man, you didn't even have the courage to stand up. A mistress drama. The ones pushed out were Luke and Sarah Jenkins. A scene at the company drama. The one who ended up going to the station was Sarah Jenkins. Leaving the hospital, I felt the air was fresh again. Michael Brown asked, what are your plans next? I thought for a moment and said seriously, I need to hold a press conference. This whole mess needs to be properly explained. Otherwise, it will severely affect Lou Corp's reputation. After that's over, I want to go traveling again, to ease my mind. I'll go with you. I don't think so. I politely refused. I'll ask Chloe Green to come with me. I see she's really into that game now. It seems she even found an online relationship, in-game, in it. I want to meet them too and vet them. Michael Brown pressed his lips together slightly. His look seemed to question me. What do you mean? I asked. He made a fist, put it to his lips, and coughed. Well, you should definitely check that person out carefully. Michael Brown was silent for a few seconds, then added, actually, it might be good to bring me along too. I can help you create a questionnaire, specifically designed to test the person's character. That idea isn't bad either. Alright, give me the questionnaire first. I'll evaluate it first, and if it's okay, we'll talk. Michael Brown gave me the questionnaire that very day. First question, would you be my son? Answer, yes. Annotation, if the male answers yes, please have him stay 92,955,867 kilometers away. Me, LOL. The press conference went surprisingly smoothly and ended perfectly. The only minor imperfection was that Sarah Jenkins showed up again at the end, but she didn't bring Luke this time. Amanda Smith, why are you doing this to me? In love, the one who isn't loved is the other woman. I made it very clear before, Ms. Jenkins. Robert Miller is the one who caused the situation. You shouldn't come looking. G for me. She gave a bitter smile. I can't find Luke's daddy. Do you know where he would go? I wouldn't know that. Robert Miller is his own person, not an accessory. I don't keep him tied to my hip. Besides, he's already resigned. He's not an employee of this company anymore. Why would I care? Sarah Jenkins froze. But, you were together for 6 years. Yes. I answered calmly. But he also has a 5-year-old child with you, doesn't he? Glancing at the time, it was almost time to head to the airport. I said, by my calculations, you and Robert Miller should be married by now. Congratulations. I walked past Sarah Jenkins and straight ahead. Faintly, I seemed to hear her voice drifting, full of heartbreaking pain. We broke up. We didn't get married. He doesn't want me anymore. Robert Miller doesn't want me and Luke anymore. End of main story. Epilogue. I am Lucas Miller. Ever since I can remember, I only had 2 relatives in my life, my grandma and my mom. Whenever someone meanly asked me, your daddy doesn't want you anymore, huh? I would retort, don't you have a daddy either? Why are you so ill-mannered, like you were born with a dad but no mom to teach you? Actually, I still have memories of daddy. And this memory is very deep. Back then, I didn't know what the other woman meant. I only knew that every day mom would hold a photo of a very pretty aunt and say to me, Luke, this is your Aunt Alex. She's the other woman. Your Aunt Alex is always hogging daddy, not letting him come home, breaking up our family. She's a bad woman. I listened. But if she was such a bad aunt, why didn't the police officers arrest her? After I asked my question, Mom fell silent, and I knew I shouldn't have asked. That day, Mom took me to the mall. I actually saw that pretty aunt. Mom said to me, Luke, Mommy has an important task for you. If you don't complete it, you'll not only lose your daddy, but you'll lose Mommy too. I was so anxious. I want to hug Mommy, but she pushed me away. Go quickly, or I'll pretend I don't have a son like you. That was the first time I saw Mommy so cold. I was so scared. So I turned around and went to look for the pretty Aunt Alex. I even fell down on the way. It hurt so bad, I wanted Mommy to kiss it better. Aunt Alex, where was Aunt Alex? I looked again and again, and finally found her. I loudly said what Mommy told me to say, Aunt Alex, please don't be the other woman and break up Luke's family. Great, I said it. My Mommy won't leave me anymore. I never expected Daddy was actually there too. But did you hear what Daddy said to me? He pushed me away and said, I'm not your daddy. Why? Why, in front of the pretty aunt, wasn't Mommy Mommy anymore, and Daddy wasn't Daddy anymore? It was only later, when Chloe Green sent me a video, that I found out that Michael Brown had still sued Sarah Jenkins and her group. Sarah Jenkins posted an apology video. In the video, her face was stiff, her eyes darting around as she apologized, and netizens found out she was reading from a script. Her apology wasn't sincere, and she was cyberbullied again. The previous Mistress drama scene seemed to be popular online for a while. I just didn't pay much attention. I scrolled through the comments and saw a familiar account. Me, is your lightning fast typing, typical of someone single for ages, just for arguing with people? Chloe Green, pfft. I'm not single anymore, thank you very much. Besides, I was just feeling indignant. Speaking of which, that turncoat Robert Miller, I wonder where he is now. Me, cheating or having a child, it's never something one person can do alone. It's none of my business what happens to him. I thought, I actually know why Robert Miller cheated with Sarah Jenkins. Because I told him I was dink. But I won't try to understand him. If he didn't accept my views, he could have told me at the very beginning. We could have communicated, negotiated. Instead of I'm unilaterally deciding to have a child. I'm glad that the moment I saw Luke, I recognized this man for who he was. Fortunately, all he wanted was my money. Fortunately, he couldn't take a dime. Chloe Green and I hadn't seen each other for about a year. This time we talked for a long time, until midnight. Chloe Green said, "I warned you a year ago. Unfortunately, you didn't listen at all back then. Luckily, it's not too late now." I was surprised. We started digging up old conversations, pulling up last year's chat history. It was a message sent at midnight, from Chloe Green. "Alex, Robert Miller is a jerk. He's seeing someone else." At the same time, there was my instant reply, "Don't worry about me." Chloe Green said, "I got angry when I saw that. But later I thought, maybe you had your own reasons, so I didn't bring it up again. Now I understand." I understand now too. Looking at the two messages that weren't on my phone at all, I once again experienced Robert Miller's cowardice. But look at his actions, deleting my messages, cheating behind my back. He also seemed quite reckless. Chloe Green also gossiped about my love life. What about Michael Brown? Look at the name of his law firm. Such a grown man, named it Sunny Law Firm. It's weirdly cute. I poked Chloe Green's forehead with my index finger. Little girl, looking for trouble? Michael Brown and I are impossible. Why? Probably because I saw him wet his pants, and he saw me pick my nose. As people who know each other's embarrassing past inside and out, I think we should still avoid each other. Besides, I'm a rich woman. Wouldn't it be better if I got a younger guy? Michael Brown had a crush on Amanda Smith. Everyone knew it when they were in kindergarten. Because Amanda Smith always wet her pants, her mom always put a lot of spare pants in her backpack. One day, Amanda Smith wet her pants again, standing there crying. Michael Brown reached into his small backpack, rummaged, and took out a diaper. "Alex, you can use this and you won't need to change pants anymore, really?" I'll change it for you." "Thank you, Michael Brown. Then I'll change yours too." When the teachers came, the two children had already helped each other put on diapers. The teacher of the sunflower class was getting married and gave each child a reward sticker. The little boys in the class all declared, "Teacher, I want to marry you when I grow up." Me too, me too." Humph, childish. Michael Brown put his hands on his hips. "You can all marry the teacher. When I grow up, I'm going to marry Amanda Smith." When the two little ones started middle school, the blossoming Amanda Smith was seriously learning kickboxing every day. Michael Brown? Amanda Smith, Chloe Green is my good friend. Boys keep trying to bully her and send her challenge letters. I need to protect her and guard my beautiful desk mate. Is it possible that I could be protected by you too? Michael Brown looked at the challenge letters in his desk and was speechless. In high school, Amanda Smith became fascinated with lawyers. The way they argue cases is so cool, I could idolize them. Amanda Smith's murmur was heard by Michael Brown. In that moment, he thought, he wanted to become a lawyer. Smith. From now on, it will be called Sunny Law Firm. From that day on, he started studying seriously, and even went abroad for further study. The day he got his results and was preparing to return home, he received a group invitation from Amanda Smith. "Brothers and sisters, I'm getting married. Come attend the wedding." He tremblingly clicked on the online invitation link. The opening screen showed Amanda Smith's radiant smile. In those few seconds, the man saw all of Amanda Smith's embarrassing moments from childhood flash through his mind, before curving his lips into a smile. "Congratulations, Amanda Smith. Congratulations on finding your own happiness." Michael Brown gave Amanda Smith's post a like.